45-minute break. What time is it? Oh, I gotta turn on this ringer.
Huh?
Oh, you can turn the ringer off. That's great. I'm gonna turn it up just a little bit. Actually, I'm gonna turn it all the way off.
All the way?
All the way. Until I want to accept the call.
There we go.
Is that how it was last time?
What?
Is that how it was set last time?
No, I brought it down a little bit.
You can adjust it however you want.
I know, I was just trying to be careful.
What if it just kaboom?
That would be our luck. Get my pencil ready.
Ooh, I need a pencil.
Oh man. Here's a pen.
And I need my You know, it's actually really chill actually being able to come in the studio before
This is so much chiller
than the first time, you know?
Last time I was...
All you need is Radio Gaga. Radio Goo. Is it Goo Goo?
Yeah.
Okay. Why do I?
Community Action Council's The Prep Academy offers special services for migrant families. The Prep Academy, Early Childhood Excellence.
Oh, here we go.
I seen Chad.
How do you read comments on this?
They should just populate. Or do you have quiet mode on? Slide left.
Oh, how'd you get in so early? Yeah, so the guy who was supposed to be in here before us she's had the stomach flu.
Yeah.
Has the stomach flu. So we actually got some prep time in the studio to get everything set up. That's how we're in here so early.
I'm gonna do a live of you doing a live of us about to go live.
I feel like that's going to cause some distortion.
No, because we'll catch people that you don't catch. Where are we, Banks?
Lexington.
What we finna do?
Do radio broadcast number 2. Fitting.
What you finna do?
Fit washing dishes.
That's fitting, not fitting. We're about to go live. So you guys need to listen. Banks has actually got this going live as well on his page. So if you would like to ask us questions, you will have to go to Adams to send those. Alright, Banks. You got any last words?
Make sure you listen. Hope you enjoy.
That was so enthusiastic.
All right, guys who are watching on Facebook Live, thank you. You can ask questions on there, and I will try to comment on them if you have anything you want to say or any comments. I'll try to filter it the best I can. Trust me, everything moves so fast.
Bugga's watching. Thank you, Bugga. Alright. This is us, Banks.
I really have to pee.
You do not have time.
I might play a song just to go pee. John said you are such a stud. I don't know if I should watch it live or actually listen to the broadcast. That's for you to decide, man. You got your phones on.
Yep. I don't like this chair. I'm going to falling out of it. You got it.
Why is that not working to the speakers?
What?
It should be coming to the speakers.
What?
The sound on this computer.
Well, that one's still going over there. I wonder if it interferes. I don't hear it yet.
Oh, there it is. Okay. And is this for sure working? Because I wasn't for sure if like.
You mean the aux cord?
Yeah, like plugged in, like I've got it in, and then.
We can test it on the queue real quick if you want.
Okay.
Let's see. This is aux 1. There's the mouse. There we go. Yep.
Oh, okay. Cool. Thank you.
That mic can start.
So all I gotta do is press the pause.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was my program manager. Had to get her down here for just a sec. All right, you ready to rock and roll?
I'm ready.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of
Welcome everybody to Off the Cuff. I am Adam Banks coming at you live from Lexington, Kentucky. Thank you for listening to the show, and thank you for tuning in to WLXU 93.9 LPFM Lexington. If you are just joining us for the first time, this is radio broadcast number 2 of Off the Cuff, the episode 260 of the podcast Off the Cuff. I hope everyone had a good week and enjoyed their Easter weekend. I sure did. I got to spend it with family, got to spend it with my nieces. And what's great about spending Easter with your nieces that are the age that my nieces are is they're old enough to where they can wrap you around their little finger. I really loved it. But here to talk about everything with me in the studio is the incomparable Amber Turner. Amber, did you have a good Easter weekend?
Adam, I had a great Easter weekend.
What did you do?
You know, I am married and have been for a while, and my in-laws have taken me in like they've known me my whole life. And my husband's family like to get together, and they restored an older home that one of the aunts was born in, and they make a massive amount of food. So
That good old country food.
that good old country food that I will never be able to cook.
I really did enjoy the holidays. I had a good time. There is one thing, though, that really does frustrate me when it comes to major, meaningful holidays like Christmas and Easter. And that is when social media hijacks the holiday. And it's when they hijack meaningful holidays. Now, I'm not talking about holidays like Halloween and Valentine's Day.
No.
I'm talking when it hijacks meaningful holidays like Christmas and Easter. So I woke up on Easter morning, went to church. After I got home from church, decided to log on to Facebook. And when I logged on to Facebook, I was bombarded with photographs of typically the things that you would expect to see. Everyone had their little girls dressed up in little Easter dresses. They had their little boys dressed up in their Easter suits. And then you had couples taking pictures in front of the church, which is fine. You know, that's what you're supposed to do on Easter. You're supposed to go to celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ. That's what Easter is for. But my problem is this. What is the true intention? Is the intention just that? Is the intention to go to church to celebrate the resurrection of Christ? Or are you doing all of that for the sake of a Facebook post?
Of a good profile picture.
Now, I was doing some research, and there is a study that suggests that 90% of people are either trying to impress their followers or they're trying to get followers. Now, hear me out. With the right picture, Amber, and the right snappy status update, it can project an image of a life far better than the one we authentically live.
Oh, yes, it can.
So I'm wondering, are people doing all of this stuff on Facebook on holidays to kind of fit in with the crowd, to feel a part of a community?
They have to. And if you've noticed, I have made it a point to actually not post many things on these particular holidays. I'm talking Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, even Memorial Day and Labor Day. Because about 3 years ago, and you and I have actually talked about this before privately, about 3 years ago, I decided that I was going to go and try to figure out how am I going to celebrate the holidays without my family.
Yeah.
Because, you know, sometimes family is just not a unit, and you have to kind of break out. So when I was trying to find my own way in the world of, you know, making a holiday about maybe just me and my husband, it was really hard because I'm seeing consistently bombarded with people. I mean, like you said, bombarded with people who are just showing these happy families and these happy smiles and, you know, make sure you forgive your family. And it's like, but what about those of us that don't want to have that picture?
Yeah.
So I have purposefully decided that I'm going to stay off of social media on these particular days, not because I am bitter, you know, because I have since, you know, reunited with a lot of my family, but it's just because I don't feel that it's authentic.
Yeah, and that's the problem I have with it, is the intention to go and do just what you are pretending like you're doing on social media. You're taking your kids to church, you're going to church, you're a happy family. But a lot of the things that people post on social media, like the study says, it's fake.
It is very
It's not
fake.
a true depiction of what people's lives are, because I have been around couples before that I genuinely know how they are. But on Facebook, they look like the happiest couple ever was.
Exactly, and we know that's not the truth.
Yeah, and sometimes it's easy to rely on Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat and Twitter to make your life seem happier than what it is. So I do have a question for the audience, and feel free to type on Facebook Live for those watching at home, or feel free to call into the studio. My question is, have you ever posted a happy picture online to mask your real life suffering? Have you ever been going through a time but that's been really difficult in your life, that you've struggled with in your life? But according to your social media page, it doesn't depict that. It looks like everything's a bed of roses. So if you have a comment on that and you want to talk about that, you can call into the studio. That number is 859-721-5690. That is 859-721-5690. A lot of people in the last episode was telling me that I was saying the number too quick, so I wanted to make sure I said that slow.
I guess in everybody's defense, I'm sitting maybe 5 feet away from him, and I actually wrote it down wrong myself.
Yeah, so if you want to talk about it or anything that you hear on today's episode, feel free to chime in. But all in all, I didn't mean to start off the show with a bit sounding bitter or sounding like I was barking at you or anything, but it did bother me when I logged onto Facebook and then I seen all of those pictures. I'm like, well, you know, that's cool. That's what you're supposed to do. But was the intention real?
Well, what's the intention? And I mean, I guess, you know, to humanize myself, I am entirely guilty of doing that. I will post the most loving status about my husband, even though I have told him 2 seconds before, you know, I'm going to lock you in the closet.
Yeah.
So I am entirely guilty of this. But you and I actually kind of had a conversation maybe about 6 months ago, and you challenged me to something, actually. Do you remember? You challenged me. Challenged me to stay off of Facebook for 3 days.
And how did you feel after you did that?
You know, so we've said this before. Adam and I see each other pretty much every day. I'm just going to go ahead and say every day. And I remember, you know, you were kind of keeping up with it. You're like, did you get on Facebook today? And I was like, no. And I even showed you my phone. I had deleted the app off.
Yeah.
And it was very refreshing.
Yeah.
You know, just, I love everybody that I have on there. You know, I love everybody in general. But it was nice to not compare myself to those people, because I think that's what a lot of us do. We compare ourselves. You know, if I see you on there posting a nice picture, you know, especially maybe you on the beach, you know, with a coconut drink in your hand, you know, the first thing I think is, well, I'm not at the beach.
Yeah.
I don't have a coconut drink in my hand.
Yeah.
So then I'm mad and I'm envious and I'm mad the rest of the day. So
Yeah.
in those 3 days that I took off, it was very nice to not know what everybody was doing.
You aren't alone. A lot of people feel that pressure to live up to other people's lives on social media, and just know, folks, that what you're seeing on Facebook is not real.
It's not real.
It's not real. That is just the image that people are trying to portray. But yeah, Amber, we do see each other almost every day, if not every day, every other day, and we've done a lot of things over the years together. Some of the things we've done is we went and watched Jerry Springer live.
We did. We went and watched Jerry Springer live. We were not on the stage. I should say that because a lot of people get the wrong impression when we say that.
When we went to Jerry Springer, we wasn't on the stage watching, or we wasn't on the stage participating. We were in the audience.
We were in the audience, and you can actually still look at, and you can watch us. They moved us around because they move you based on, I guess, how much you interact with the audience. So we got moved from the back to the front.
We also went and watched Jimmy Kimmel live in Los Angeles.
We did, and this is actually probably one of my best Adam stories to tell, because Adam and I, we're 19 years old, and my mother decided that for Christmas that year she was going to give me a gift, and my gift was to take Adam and I to Los Angeles for New Year's Eve. So here we are, we're 19, and we jump on a plane, and we go to Los Angeles. And anybody who's ever been around Adam and I, we fight. I mean, like, we've said before, we've been together for 24 years. And if you think we don't fight, well, that's just wrong. Because we do.
We do fight.
So, here we are, we're in Los Angeles. We're out walking the streets at like 11 o'clock at night. Two people from Beaver, 19 years old, in Los Angeles. But the best part about this is, we're getting ready to leave. And Adam decides he wants to go to Jimmy Kimmel. Well, of course, I was happy to oblige because I was like, okay, whatever, I'm never going to be able to do that again. And I used to have this thing. I didn't like to carry my wallet around because I didn't like a purse. And I feel like you had yelled at me earlier in the day because of this, because I just stuck my credit card in my pocket, which I would never do now. But we get to the door and I don't have my ID. And let me tell you, there is not a word that Mr. Banks did not say to me standing in that line.
And the FCC will not let me repeat what you said. But yeah, I screamed at her. We've done a lot of things. Jimmy Kimmel, Jerry Springer.
Jonas Brother concert.
I was going to leave that one out. But we've done a lot of things. But one of the things that we also did the other day was we got to go to Lexington Comic-Con and meet Mark Paul Gosselaar. I got to meet WWE wrestler Kane. We get to do fun things like that. And I see something coming up very, very soon that I saw on social media that we're going to have to do together again. And I think you guys might be interested in it. MTV is putting on a reality con. And it's basically just like a Comic-Con where different celebrities will come and let you take a picture with them, let you meet them. Well, MTV is putting on a reality con where you are going to be able to go and meet your favorite reality stars. Some of the people that are going to be there are people from the Real World, RuPaul Drag Show, or not RuPaul Drag Show, the RuPaul Drag Race, Survivor, The Hills, etc. So basically a lot of your MTV reality shows. I did notice that Kim Kardashian and her sisters will not be there. So
the Kardashian clan will not be there.
Yeah, they will not be there. But I think that's going to be something fun.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I definitely, I think when we first started talking about it, we got excited because we thought Laguna Beach was going to be involved. But if we get even just a few people from the Hills, that would be worth my money.
What would you say your favorite reality show is of all time?
Favorite reality show of all time? Oh wow. I'm gonna say Laguna Beach. I mean, I have to stay true. Laguna Beach is my favorite reality show. And you know this. How many times have you walked into my home and I am watching season 2 of Laguna Beach on DVD?
Even though Laguna Beach, it was a legit show because it was one of the first reality shows that show teenagers in the high school environment. It was a great show, but no reality show has taken it as far as the Kardashians. They will not be there, but I do have a interesting topic to talk about, and that is Kim Kardashian is going to law school. Now, we got to take our first commercial break, and when we come back, I'm going to go into a little bit more detail about Kim Kardashian
being a lawyer.
We'll be right back with more Off the Cuff. This is Adam Banks.
Lexington Community Radio has archives of some of their shows on SoundCloud. Visit www.soundcloud.com/Lexington-community-radio to see all of the shows available. Lexington Community Radio has the generous support of our founding partner, the Lexington Fayette County Health Department, serving expectant parents through the HANDS program. Raising a baby comes with many questions, and the health department is here to help. The HANDS program provides free training and information to any
Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. Amber also in the studio with me. So before we left for break, I was talking about Kim Kardashian becoming a lawyer. Yes, you did hear me correctly. Kim Kardashian is becoming a lawyer. Amber, speak.
My mic's not on.
What do you mean your mic's not on?
No, maybe it is. Okay.
Yes,
Sorry.
let me do the technical stuff. You sit over there and let me worry about
I
it.
told you, folks, we do not always get along. We do not always get along. But yes, Kim Kardashian going to be a lawyer. I would let her defend me.
You would let Kim Kardashian defend
I would
you?
let Kim Kardashian defend me. Why wouldn't I?
I mean, I think that she has proven over her career that she can do more than just be a pretty lady.
She can do more than I think a lot of people want to give her credit for. Yes, they are filthy rich. We all know that. And of course, I would love to be filthy rich like they are, but I'm not. But that doesn't mean that I should discredit what they have done.
So, in a recent Vogue article that was published on Wednesday, Kim Kardashian revealed that she is studying to become a lawyer and has aims to take the California bar in 2022. Now, there are some states like California, Vermont, Virginia, and Washington that allow aspiring lawyers to study under an apprentice for several years and then take the bar exam alongside law school graduates. So she technically doesn't have to go to law school.
Nope.
All she has to do is work under apprentice for 3 years, and then when law students sit to take the bar exam, she's going to be able to do the same thing.
I guess my only concern with that is I just don't want it to turn into a spectacle. And here these people are actually trying to, take this exam because they've spent, I don't know if it's 3 or 4 years in law school. I don't want them to go there and have all of this unnecessary pressure because you've got a Kardashian in the room with you. So, and they can't make, special arrangements for her to not take this test in the same setting that everybody else would. So I just hope that when that time comes, the public will kind of, slide back a little bit and let those people who actually have went through law school go in there, take their test, even with a Kardashian in the room.
So these individuals who do sit to take the bar exam, if they pass, they can work as fully credentialed lawyers in that particular state. Individuals who choose this route in California must study in a law office for 4 years, at least 18 hours a week, and pass a baby bar, is what they call it, after the first year. They must pay a $150 fee to start. I'm sure she's not going to have a problem
I'm
affording
sure
that.
she's not going to have a problem.
Followed by a biannual payment to the California bar of $30. The full cost rarely exceeds more than a few $1,000s compared to more than $150,000 for 3 years of many California law schools. Now, Kim Kardashian is no stranger to helping people that are in trouble legally.
No, she is not. So one of the big things that I think kind of started to change my opinion on Kim Kardashian was last summer she started to fight the good fight for a lady named Alice Johnson. And Alice Johnson was convicted of drug trafficking in Memphis in 1996, and she was given a sentence of life in prison. And kind of once Kim Kardashian kind of heard about this, she started during the Obama administration trying to, get clemency. And it was when President Trump took over that clemency was finally granted to Alice Johnson on June the 6th of 2018. And she was released. So you can actually, kind of watch how Kim, Kim documented everything that she done. Not on Keeping Up the Kardashians, but on Kim's personal Instagram. She went ahead and told not only Alice's story, but she's done follow-ups of Alice. She put a post that was talking about Alice spending her first Thanksgiving, at home with her family. So I have to give her a lot of credit for that. I think, and there have been things on the show that they've shown. They went to a survivor camp in Los Angeles, and they have donated money to a few of those things. So,
and it's also interesting that her dad was a lawyer. Her dad was Robert Kardashian. He's famously known as defending O.J. Simpson back in the early to mid 90s. So it's no strange fact that Kim wants to follow in her dad's footsteps. But the fact that she's going to law school, I think that speaks volumes about her character. It's showing that she is more than just a pretty face. She is knocking down the people that telling her she can't do something. And I can relate to that personally. A lot of people tell me all the time, Adam, you can't do this. Adam, you'll never be on the radio. Adam,
looky.
I mean, just don't give up, folks. I mean, look, anything can happen. Look at what I'm doing. But yeah, so Kim Kardashian is going to be an attorney.
Lawyer.
Yeah, but Hey, good for her. So you might notice on Facebook Live, those who are listening on the radio, you cannot see me, but I'm wearing my Kentucky Scratch-Off shirt. I'm a big lottery player, play the lottery all the time, and I have yet to win. But Manuel Franco, who is the newest lottery winner, has come forward. He won the third largest jackpot in U.S. history, $768 million to be exact. He came forward just a couple of days ago. He is from Wisconsin. He bought his ticket from a speedway, and he bought it after he got off work. And I understand him. Sometimes after we get off work, especially if we're not happy, Amber, what do? We feel defeated, and sometimes we feel like we want to have hope. So we go into our local gas station, buy a lottery ticket, and that's exactly what Manuel did. He went in, bought a lottery ticket, and what's interesting about this kid who won, this 24-year-old young man who won, is he said that when he bought his ticket, he knew he had the winning ticket. He said something came over him and told him that this was the ticket that was going to win. He even said he felt so confident on his way out of the speedway, he looked up at the camera, held up his lottery ticket, and winked at the camera. And it makes me think of the law of attraction. Have you ever heard of the law of attraction?
I have heard of the law of attraction.
It's basically when you speak things into existence. You are basically imagining and visualizing yourself doing something, and it will come true. Now, let me tell you something. I truly believe in the law of attraction. I practice that all the time. I envision myself sitting in a studio broadcasting over the radio and look at where I'm at. So, guys, if you've never tried the law of attraction, it's something that you might want to practice, because it worked for me, and obviously it worked for Manuel Franco, who envisioned himself winning the lottery, and he did.
But, like, I guess when you envision yourself, winning the lottery, how do you actually grasp when, of course we all want to think, it's like a test. You take a test and you think, man, I done good on that test. And then you get your grade and you got a 70, and I'm sure, he thought, okay, I've won, and then he actually wins. But at what point does it actually sink in that, wow, my whole life has changed? Because when you first have those things, those thoughts of, this is going to go the way I want it to go, and then it actually happens.
Yeah.
Like, I just would be curious as to kind of what his thought process was after, it was actually confirmed. Because that confirmation, man, that right there is...
it's another different feeling. I don't know. I think that you have to I don't really think it hits you until maybe even a couple weeks after you win. See, now, this jackpot was drawn... was it months ago?
It was months ago.
Months ago. So he actually took his time. He didn't jump the gun. See, if I would have won the lottery...
You would have jumped the gun.
I would have drove right up to Louisville and cashed in my ticket, got on the air and said, yes, I won $760 million. I wouldn't have had time to process my thoughts, because I would have jumped in on cashing that ticket. He actually took his time and thought about what he was going to do. He hired a team of lawyers. He got a bunch of financial representatives around him to help him out. I don't necessarily agree with all of that, because lawyers take a big percentage of your money.
Well, but would you rather a lawyer take a big percentage of your money, or someone that maybe you potentially, just in passing wronged, in the past?
I would handle it myself.
They're going to come up and, say, okay, I want $55 million, like, I don't know.
I would handle it myself. I would handle all of my all the legal stuff myself. I would handle all the financial.
Would you pull a Kim Kardashian and get your certification to be a lawyer?
You mean my law degree?
Yeah.
No.
Well, no, she's not getting a law degree, though. She's technically not getting a degree. She's just certifying herself.
Oh, gosh. Well, the third largest jackpot in U.S. history, $768 million. He took the cash option of $477 million. After taxes, he put in his pocket $326 million. $326 million. I mean,
I would not even know.
That is an ungodly amount of money.
What to do with that?
If you won the lottery, Amber, what would you do?
Oh, I would probably... I think we've talked about this before. I would give a little bit of money to some of my, some people who've been around me. But I would love to just have a farm full of corgis. I think that would make me happy. Just a farm full of just little corgi dogs.
I think it's just important to keep your routine. I think that as long as you keep your routine, you actually have a purpose to get up and do something. I think that as long as you try to maintain a normal life,
Just and
You'd
that
be
was
okay.
something again that you know, Adam actually dishes out a lot of good advice. So if you're ever kind of feeling down, you should probably just, you know, listen to some of the words that Adam says, because, you know, about a year ago, my company was shut down. So I was unemployed. You know, I'm officially, you know, a full-time college student. But at the time, you know, it was very weird because I had spent 5 years just go, you know, at this position that I had. And I remember you told me, get a routine. You told me get a routine.
Mhm.
And, you know, here we are, you know, a year later, and I have no doubts like I did then. You know, I had a lot of doubts. I was very fearful. And, you know, kind of once you told me get a routine, I made a routine for myself, and here we are.
I don't see myself winning the lottery anytime soon, but I guess I'm just going to have to settle with the Red Mile.
The Red Mile.
That's here in Lexington. Which brings me to my next topic, folks. Indiana legalized sports betting. And anyone who knows anything about me knows I love to gamble. I like to play poker. I like to go to the casino. I like to try my luck. And I also like to bet on sports. But you can't do that here in the United States unless you are in Vegas. So I think it was last year, the Supreme Court made it legal that all 50 states can potentially put sports gambling in their state. And, of course, Kentucky is one of the last people to consider that. But Indiana just made it legal. And right now, we as Kentuckians should be used to having to go to Indiana to gamble. We have to travel across the Ohio River to do that.
To go to the, what was it, Argosies. It's not called Argosies.
It's not called Argosy anymore. It's called the Hollywood Casino. Yeah, but yes, so you can now, according to the governor of Indiana, which his name is Eric Holcomb, he still has to sign off on the bill, but it's on his desk, and it's looking very promising. So you can now go to Indiana and bet on sports games. Yeah, and I think that's gonna change the game in sports. It really is. You cannot bet on esports. If you don't know what esports is, that's betting with people who play sports video games. Believe it or not, people do bet on other people who play sports video games. You can't do that. You cannot bet on amateur athletes under the age of 18, and which kind of knocks off maybe a few basketball teams that has someone on their roster that is under the age of 18. But it frustrates me to no end that we are sitting here in Kentucky letting these other states around us do these things that's helping their economy and their state, but we're sitting here and can't even pay a pension. We're sitting over here, one of the last states in the entire union that's going, you know, belly up. That's going broke. And one of the solutions to our financial problems is legalizing sports gambling here in this state.
Gambling in general, I think.
Just gambling in general.
Gambling in general.
Table games, sports betting, slot machines.
We love slot machines.
It's really frustrating. We do love slot machines. So the only type of betting that you're going to be able to do here in Kentucky is, of course, the horse race betting, the Kentucky Lottery, and then you have the Red Mile, which is here in Lexington, which I love, by the way. The Red Mile, it's set up just like a casino. It's got live music. It's got pretty much everything that a casino has except table games. You got your player's card. They draw your name for prizes all the time, and you can hit big jackpots.
You can.
I actually hit a jackpot at the Red Mile a couple of weeks ago. Amber, you was with me. It was an 1,100 jackpot.
It was, and you know, again, if you don't know Adam, you know, in real life, he's very charismatic and he talks a lot with his hands. So when he hit this jackpot, he had already been very animated prior to that because his machine wasn't hitting. And then it's, you know, he wins this jackpot, and I got so nervous because I was like, I don't know what's going on. I've never won a jackpot, and I've never seen anyone win a jackpot. But I seen that day, and it terrified me.
It's so scary because you have so much money in your machine that you're about to cash out. You are sitting there protecting that machine with your life. I mean, even though it was just $1,100, I was scared to death, but I was so happy to win.
It was nice.
I almost jumped out of my skin.
You did jump out of your seat, so... But you did forget one good thing about the Red Mile.
What's that?
What's the one good thing about the Red Mile?
Oh, they're Pepsi.
They have good Pepsi. They have the best soda. So, yeah.
Jeffrey Standen, a professor of law at the Chase College of Law at Northern Kentucky University, said that the state constitution does have an exemption for lottery games and could be the easiest road to legality. He says, quote, I think the statute is broad enough to allow the legislator to create sports betting without amending the Constitution. So he says that it is very promising. He says that he does believe that in the next couple years that sports gambling could happen in Kentucky. I really would like to see it. There's got to be...
You would have to just show me. You would have to start from scratch and teach me how to do it.
Yeah.
I would have no clue.
There's got to be a solution to our pension problem here, and I think that casino gambling is. I don't know if you got a chance to watch any of the governor's debate last night with Adam Edlin, Rocky Atkins, and Andy Brashear, but
I did.
they were asked about casino gambling, and a lot of them were for it. All three of them were for it. And I think the biggest advocate of it is Andy Brashear. So it will be something that I hope we see here in Kentucky very soon. Okay, we're going to have to take our commercial break, and when we come back, we will have more Off the Cuff.
From Athenian Grill, and you're listening to WLXU 93.9 LPFM, Lexington Community Radio.
Hey, do you miss the sound of the 70s, 80s, and 90s that smoothed out old school R&B and that powerful hip hop from back in the day?
You're mine too.
Sounds like this.
You thought you were Michael?
Well, I went. I couldn't hear anything. I was like,
Get off your phone.
Jump on board the time machine. I'll take you back in time with the time capsule every Wednesday.
Okay.
That's right, way back Wednesday. From 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. That's right, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. every Wednesday. Don't forget that 12 o'clock power mix will be coming your way on Wednesdays.
So many people calling in. I had the ringer on silent.
who's calling in?
Sorry, I had the ringer on silent if you were calling in.
Lexington Community Radio has the generous support of our founding partner, the Lexington Fayette County Health Department, serving expectant parents through the HANDS program. Raising a baby comes with many questions, and the health department
Hey.
is here to help. The HANDS program provides
Okay, I'm gonna
free
put-
training and
okay, I'm gonna put you on there in just a few, okay?
with the
Hold
baby
on.
the way. To learn more, call 859-288-2388 or visit lexingtonhealthdepartment.org. Our voices, our radio.
Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks and Amber with you in the studio. Very excited to have on the telephone with me a very familiar voice here on Off the Cuff who has been on over 80-something episodes. And I had no idea she was calling in. Very excited for this. Ladies and gentlemen, if I can remember, of course, how to put people on the air, we're going to do that. But I've got Nellie Walker Gibson, who is on the show. Nellie, are you there? Hello? Hello? Nellie? Can you hear me? How's everything going? I really do appreciate you calling into the show. I was telling everybody that you have been on over 80-something episodes. You and me started off the cuff sitting on your couch at my apartment. Yeah, it's ridiculous. What did he do? Uh-huh. Wow. Yeah, yeah. I see what I see what you're saying, and I don't think that Governor Bevin is a governor for the people. And when you look at our other candidates, when you look at our Democratic candidates, and I'm speaking as a Republican, even when you look at our Democratic candidates, every single one of them, regardless of their policies, they seem even more relatable to the people than Matt Bevin does. It seems like he's almost anti-Kentucky. Yeah. It is. Well, it is important that you do go out and vote, regardless of who it is you're voting for. Exercise that right to vote. I think it's more than just a right. I think it's your American duty. So, Nellie, I think that your call is going to inspire a lot of Kentuckians to go out there on Election Day and vote. I really do appreciate you calling.
Hey, Nellie, I just wanted to say hey. Good, how are you? Well, that's what I was going to say. I think Banks likes to keep us separated.
I don't like to keep you separated.
I think he knows that we would dominate if we were side by side. Yep.
Yeah, I'd really be outnumbered there. Her name's Amber, by the way, not Amanda.
Hey, I was going with it. I was going with it. Hey, I'll go with it. Call me whatever you want, Nellie. Just don't call me late to dinner.
All right, Nellie, thanks for calling. All right, bye. How about that, Nellie? Nellie Walker Gibson, who has been on over 80-something episodes. Now, you can check out all of our archives on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube. We're on Facebook, all over the place, because this is episode 260. Off the cuff, even though this is radio broadcast number 2, we've been on the airwaves for over 5 years, and Nellie was the original co-host. Unfortunately, things changed. Nellie had to move and got I hate saying the word replacement.
No, because I
don't want to say you are a replacement, but you just stepped into a role that had very big shoes to fill.
I did. And
you've done a great
big
job.
Shoes to fill.
But you're totally two different people.
We are, but I enjoy the Nellie episodes. Like that, that was what kept me listening, even though I loved you and we had been friends for years, hearing the dynamic between you and Nellie is kind of what kept me listening.
Yeah.
So I'm appreciative, that I've got to, I guess, fill the shoes of Nellie. So.
You know what that is?
I know what that is.
Another one bites the dust by the one and only Queen. I watched an excellent movie the other day, and I have to talk about it. Bohemian Rhapsody is one of the best biopics of a band I've ever seen. So, let's think about some movies that we've watched in the past. Some movies that have really captivated the audience and really told a good story about a band and a particular artist. So let's think of some.
Well, obviously the first is going to be Bohemian Rhapsody.
Bohemian Rhapsody, of
Bohemian
course.
Rhapsody. Adam and I actually made a top 4 list, and we will definitely, not agree on the second. So I'll go ahead and let you say your second, then I'll say mine.
So Bohemian Rhapsody, I think, is probably one of the best. I'm going to say that the Jackson 5 movie, I think it was called The American Dream.
The American Dream
was a great one. Selena with Jennifer Lopez was a great one.
And What's Love Got to Do with
What's
It?
Love Got to Do with It with Angela Bassett.
Angela Bassett.
Depicting Tina Turner. All great movies that really just told the story and let you in on things that you didn't know before.
You just didn't know. You didn't understand some of the trials and the tribulations that went into this music being made. And, you know, I went and watched Bohemian Rhapsody the weekend that it premiered. And I will tell you that was probably the only time I've ever seen a unified group of people sitting in a movie theater and everyone is singing. The credits start rolling and no one gets up. No one got up at all. They sat there and they sang, and I cried because you guys know I'm emotional. I can't help it. But I cried because, you know, here is a man. I don't care what he done in his personal life. His personal life was just that, personal. He made magic.
He did. He was a true artist. See, what I enjoyed about Freddie Mercury is the fact that he could intrigue his audience with his performance. Not only was his voice unbelievable, but he was also someone who wrote his own music. He could write the own tunes to his music. He could perform on stage. I loved it when he would perform with the half of the microphone stand.
Half of a mic.
Instead of the full microphone stand. And that story is because when he was first performing with Queen, he accidentally broke the microphone stand. So he started from then on
he just that up.
Performing with half the microphone stand. But the way he would sit down at a piano and just make magic happen.
He made magic, and he never let anyone tell him any different. You know, you were talking about the law of attraction earlier. I'm sure he probably felt the same way. He knew he had an end goal, and his end goal was he was going to make brilliant music, and he did. I'm sorry. He made brilliant music.
Some of the songs that he made were anthems that people could sing along with. He said that he wanted to make music that the people could sing along with for years and years to come. So, We Are the Champion. We are the champions, my friend.
We are the champions.
We will
rock you. And we still hear that. I mean, in 2019, they are still playing We Will Rock You at sporting events. All sporting events. You will hear We Will Rock You.
So, yeah. And then just a few others, to name a few. There's Radio Gaga.
Radio Gaga.
Who inspired Lady Gaga to name herself Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga.
I mean, if you can't make an entertainer like Lady Gaga, you can inspire her enough to make her entire onstage name from
a song.
From one of your songs.
That's actually not even a prevalently known song that you came out with. You know, people kind of discredit Radio Gaga. You know, it's not one of the front runners when you hear people talk about Queen. It's not.
No, it's not.
But you know, you've got Radio Gaga. You've got I Want to Break Free. I don't know. This man's a genius. I don't think that there is a song on any album that he ever created that I do not like.
I absolutely have to agree with you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back with our last segment here on Off the Cuff. I'm Adam Banks, and we'll see you in just a few moments.
I'm Corinne LaRue with Source on High, and we are proud to support Lexington Community Radio. Source on High believes in a healthy body, mind, and spirit are essential to a joyful life. We're the first in the state to offer float tank therapy, which is proven by Justin Feinstein, PhD, to balance, enhance, and support a healthy lifestyle. To learn more or schedule an appointment, call 859-539-2097 or visit us on the web at sourceonhigh.com. Thank you.
Lexington Community Radio and State Farm present Good Neighbors, Good Drivers.
What should you do if you suspect you're sharing the road with a drunk driver? Don't try to pass them or get them to pull over. Take down the license number, then get off the road and call 911.
Burden.
Tell the operator the make and license plate number of the vehicle as well as the time and location. Traffic authorities will take care of the rest. Hi, this is Wallace Barber from State Farm, reminding you to be a good neighbor and help keep alcohol off our roadways.
Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. Last segment of the hour. Again, can't believe an hour
flown by
has
again.
already passed. It's crazy. Well, Amber, today is the NFL Draft. Are you going to watch?
I would say yeah.
I think if there was ever a year for you to watch the NFL Draft, it's this year because Kentucky football has a lot of players
We've
who
got a lot
potentially
of names in this.
they could potentially hear their name drawn this year. Of course, you got Josh Allen, who is projected as a top 10 pick in the NFL Draft. Josh Allen is one of the greatest players to ever play here at Kentucky, and I think it's very deserving that he gets drafted in the top 10. I think all of these assumptions about him being good enough to go in the top 10 is true. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's not just a good football player, he's a good person. And I think that teams look at that. You know, people think, oh, no, they only care if you can catch a football and throw a football.
No, that's not true.
That's not true. They're looking at your character. If they didn't, they wouldn't interview you.
No.
They wouldn't try to figure out what type of person you are. And why do most people get kicked out of the NFL? It's not because of their talent. It's because of stuff that
because of things they do in their personal life.
They're doing in their personal life. And they want to avoid that. And
Yep.
Josh Allen is just he's just a good guy. And I think that it's going to be exciting to see what happens. Some other players that are projected to go in the draft is Lonnie Johnson, rounds 1 through 4, Mike Edwards, rounds 3 through 4, Benny Snell, 4 through 6, Chris Westry, 6 through 7, Derek Beatty, 6 through 7th, Darius West, 7th round, and possibly C.J. Conrad in the 7th round. Benny Snell. Everyone knows Benny Snell. Snell, yeah, one of the most popular players to ever play
He was definitely one of the most popular players
at
to play.
Kentucky. But listen, Amber, I won't be surprised if Benny Snell does not get drafted at all.
You know, I enjoyed watching him play, but I think we both agree, you know, he's a little slow.
He's a little slow. And in the NFL, you got to be fast. These teams that the NFL is looking for, they're looking for fast players. Benny Snell, yeah, he's got intensity. He's got excitement. He's got the adrenaline. He's got everything that an NFL player would want, but he's still slow.
The speed.
And when we're talking about paying a man millions and millions and millions of dollars,
You've got to check every box.
every box has to be checked. Now, he could fall low into the 6th and 7th round, but don't be surprised if he doesn't get drafted at all. And you heard it here on Off the Cuff. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Now, as far as the other guys, it could go either way. I don't know. I've never been someone to claim to know a lot about football, so I don't know. But don't be surprised if Benny Snell his name is not called at all in the draft. That's something that
We'll see.
That's something that you've got to be prepared for. There are a total of 254 picks. Currently, each of the 32 teams receives 1 pick in each of the 7 rounds of the NFL Draft. Now, sometimes that changes because of teams trading players for draft picks and cap space and all that good stuff. But essentially, each team gets a pick every single round, and there's 32 teams.
Okay.
So tonight at 8 o'clock on 3 channels, ABC, ESPN, and the NFL Network, you're going to see the first round. So that's potentially where you're going to hear possibly Lonnie Johnson I've been hearing in the first round. Possibly, but you're definitely going to be hearing Josh Allen. The last time UK had 2 first-round draft picks, it was Warren Bryant and Randy Burke, and they were selected in the 1977 draft.
So it's been since 77 since we potentially had 2 people in the first round.
Yeah.
And now we potentially have 2. That's a huge time gap.
Oh, yeah.
That is a huge time gap.
It really is. What's interesting about this draft, it's being held in Nashville, and it's held outside, and it's supposed to rain tonight. And I don't care who you are or what kind of event that you're putting on. Mother Nature doesn't slow down for nobody.
No.
She don't stop for nobody. If it's going to rain, it's going to rain. It's very risky when you have an event outside.
It is, and actually, I think the only football game that I made it to this year for UK, it actually rained.
It did.
It rained. It rained pretty hard on us when we were watching the game.
Yeah, with football, though, it's expected. There's really nothing that you can do about a football game when it starts to rain because most of the time, 90% of your stadiums are outside. Now, they do have the indoor stadiums, which are millions and millions and millions of dollars, but sometimes that's to be expected. But when you have an option to put an event inside or outside, I just think it's always easier to go with inside.
But I mean, I guess in the same sense, you know, look at us. We're people, we like to be outside when the weather is nice. Even if we know there's impending rain, we want to get that last 5 minutes outside. So maybe they just want to be outside.
Before we go, ladies and gentlemen, I've got one more thing that I want to talk about. Are you familiar with who Elizabeth Hasselbeck is, Amber?
I am.
She is the former conservative talk show host on The View.
She is feisty.
She is feisty. Beautiful lady.
She's absolutely beautiful, but man.
She is feisty. Very smart. I don't think she gets credit for her intelligence.
Well, I think sometimes her emotions, like her emotional outbursts, kind of cloud what little bit, you know, that we get to see of her, you know, just on her previous talk show.
Well, it has been well known that she has been bullied on her time at The View. When she was on The View with Barbara Walters and a couple more women back in the mid-2000s.
Because we had Joey Behar on there, Barbara Walters.
Several people. But I'm going to let you listen to a clip from her time on The View when she got so worked up over a topic talking about the morning after pill. She got so worked up that she became very emotional about it. And Barbara Walters did the one thing that I can't stand when anybody does to me either. She told Elizabeth to calm down. I hate it when people tell me to calm down. That just makes me more frustrated.
It makes you even more mad.
When people say calm down. So take a listen at the clip from Elizabeth Hasselbeck back in the mid-2000s when she walked off the set and quit The View. So take a listen. My goodness, some journey. Here we go.
I hear what you're saying, because I have to. What the? I don't even swear. She has me swearing. This woman's driving me nuts. I know. I'm not going back out. I can't do the show like this. She just reprimanded me. She knew exactly what she was doing. I know. Goodbye. I'm off. Write about that in the New York Post.
So that was Elizabeth Hasselbeck walking off the set. Now later she came back and everything was fine with Barbara because they made amends. And the producer came back and talked her into going back out there. So you can see the treatment that she was getting while she was on that show. Well, Elizabeth came back. She came back.
Yep.
And she came back to the show and she was a guest star. And she laid on some pretty thick allegations that happened to her while she was co-hosting with Rosie O'Donnell. Take a listen.
She did.
And she said that she had a little bit of a crush on you, and it was mutual. And it was mutual. She said it wasn't sexual, but that you played softball. And I'm not sure what that meant, but what did it mean to you?
That's the breath of the Holy Spirit. Like, please, Holy Spirit, work through me right now so I don't answer my own mind.
Yeah.
Take a breath.
A couple things. So,
Take a breath.
this is right. Lord help me. This is how I believe this needs to be addressed. Both truthfully and maybe where I wouldn't have addressed it with some grace in years past and haven't. I will now. So, two things. One, I think what she said was reckless, untrue, and not only insulting, disturbing when it comes to how she felt about somebody in the workplace. That somebody happened to be me, but if you replace what Rosie said and you take her name out and you put in Ruben or Robert, then we would be in a situation where you would see the
Objectification.
Thank you, objectification of a woman in the workplace. And that's disturbing because where we may be really against that when it comes from a man to a woman, you don't get a pass because you're a lesbian objectifying a woman in the workplace.
I want to stop it there. I think that she hit the nail on the head.
She definitely hit the nail on the head.
A lot of people don't think about women getting sexually harassed by other women. It's always
And
men getting the finger pointed at them.
You know-
And that's not fair, because it does happen in the workplace. Men can get hit on by other men, and women can get hit on by other women. And people like to ignore the fact that a woman can get hit on by another woman.
And I've worked in several situations where I personally have felt, that I was being objectified, not only by some of the men that I worked with, but, in particular, I think about a particular woman that I have worked with in the past. She made me feel uncomfortable, but she was higher than I was within the company, so I felt like I had to take it. And, the work is work, and it's hard enough on its own. I do not want to go there and ever be objectified in any way, because I've got a task I've got to accomplish, and I don't care if you think I'm cute, I don't care if you think I'm ugly. That's your opinion, keep it to yourself. If you can contribute to the work that I'm performing, go right ahead. I'll be happy, but I don't really care about what you think about me and my looks.
And something else that goes unnoticed is men getting sexually harassed by women in the workplace.
And it happens.
Oh, you better bet it happens. You better bet that men can get sexually harassed by other women in the workplace. And a lot of men don't say anything about it because they feel less of a man to say that they're getting sexually harassed by a woman. But it happens. And that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Like, I understand, that we are taught from a young age that you meet the people that you could potentially have as partners, in social settings, and whether that social setting be, preparatory school, high school, college, even on into the workplace. I totally get that. But if you aren't having, these feelings reciprocated, back off, just back up, do your work. Do your work. Don't make it uncomfortable for everybody, because that's exactly what it does. It doesn't just make it uncomfortable for you two. It makes it uncomfortable for everyone witnessing it.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, we are out of time. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to another episode of Off the Cuff. You can listen to all of our previous episodes by going to our main webpage at podcastgarden.com/podcast/offthecuff, our second main page at offthecuff.buzzsprout.com. Subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, or YouTube, or you could like our Facebook page at Off the Cuff with Adam Banks. I'm Adam Banks. That is Amber. We will see you next Thursday at 4 o'clock. We're good. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We have a pre-recording session.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do one thing while you sit up. How did it go?
It went good. It went good.
Well,